It seems today that all that you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. But where are those good old-fashioned values on which we used to rely? TV is full of evil guys. Negan, Walter White, Homelander, Bob Adams. It seems that we love to see the evil in these characters, as if we fulfill our own deep and dark desires through them. But there is one character that stands above the rest as a beacon of moral righteousness. That man is Anthony John Soprano. He originates from the HBO show The Sopranos. However, many of you may know him as his role as mouth open lying down Wojak. The Sopranos has been a revered show for decades at this point and really needs no introduction. It is truly the Dark Souls 2 of television, widely loved and perfect in every sense of the word. However, there's been some recent discourse surrounding the main character, Tony Soprano, and whether or not he is wholesome chungus, heart of Reddit gold, or if he's Lebad. As an avid fan, this discussion confuses me massively, because if you'd actually watch the show instead of watching Sigma edits on TikTok, you'd know that Tony Soprano did nothing wrong. For today's upload of high quality analysis, we'll be looking at popular critiques of Tony Soprano and explaining why they're wrong. The first piece of criticism that's usually leveled against Tony Soprano is that, well, he's Italian. It is one of the biggest crimes he commits throughout the whole show. We ran a poll among Unijoy viewers, asking them what they think of Italy. You may assume pizza or pasta, but no, the true results will shock you. 78% of people reported back Benito, the fascist dictator of Italy during World War II. I believe this is where a lot of the criticism that Tony Soprano faces comes from, so let me help clear up this discussion by showing some facts not a lot of people had considered. Benito died on the 28th of April 1945, whereas Tony Soprano was born on the 22nd of August 1959. We can see a clear discrepancy in the claim. There is a 14-year period between the death of Benito and the birth of Tony Soprano, indicating to us that they are in fact different people. The usual response to this refutation is, how do we know he didn't run away to Argentina and then reappear later using Tony Soprano as a fake identity? This argument has been touted across Soprano spaces for years now, and it's time someone finally put it to rest. Firstly, in The Many Saints of Newark, the Sopranos prequel film, we see Tony as a teenager, and in many flashback scenes in the original series, we see Tony as a child. From this, we can assume that Tony Soprano was born and grew up being a baby, and ending as an adult, in the order we would typically expect. If this were to be Benito, we would see a full-grown man pretending to be a baby or a teenager, which is just not the case. And even if that were true, somehow Livia and Johnny Soprano missed all the obvious signs that their newborn baby was, in fact, a fascist dictator. Also, would have had to be at least 118 years old by the time The Sopranos ended. How do we know this? Well, during the intro for the earlier seasons, as Tony drives through New York, we can see the Twin Towers, but by season 4, they are missing. For those unaware, on the 11th of September 2001, 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center, causing them to crumble. While I don't believe this is mentioned within the Sopranos canon, we can understand the absence of the Twin Towers as a subtle nod to eagle-eyed viewers, but the later seasons take place post 9/11. Born in 1883, 2001 take away 1883 equals 118. The minimum age would be to appear as Tony Soprano. We can understand this is an absurd claim from the Benito Soprano truthers that have infested the Sopranos fanbase. The final claim for Tony Soprano being comes from a fellow video essayist, Rene Descartes, who, in all fairness, does make good videos. He claims that there could be a demon manipulating our thoughts and memories. For example, Tony Soprano could believe he was Benito. However, the universe was only brought into existence by this demon a couple of seconds before his birth, and falsely manipulated people's memories to believe that there was a world history. In this way, Tony Soprano would undoubtedly be Benito, as we can never truly rule out the evil demon. But this argument doesn't actually hold up when brought against Mrs. Soprano. If ever actually existed, then Tony cannot be held accountable for actions. It would just be a belief that such a thing happened, but in reality, nothing ever happens. It was William Kingdon Clifford who put forth the claim that belief without evidence is immoral. If we are accusing Tony of being immoral for being then we are ourselves acting immorally for believing without evidence, only using memories. If we do use our memories as evidence, well, this presents an epistemic problem. Can we really trust our memory? I would argue no, perchance. From this we can conclude that Tony Soprano is Italian, but he's one of the good ones, and that he is definitely not fascist dictator Benito. The second piece of criticism that people bring up against Tony Soprano is that he isn't woke. Two moments of the show spring to mind. Once Vito is discovered to be gay, Tony says, "He's a fag!" And after Meadow brings home Noah, Tony later faints after seeing a packet of Uncle Ben's rice. To touch on the latter, this is actually evidence of Tony being more woke than the audience expected. In 2020, Uncle Ben's actually removed Uncle Ben from the packet and changed the name simply to Ben's Original. Why did they do this, you may ask? Well, people thought the packaging itself was racist. The title of Uncle plays on the history of not giving black people a professional title, such as Mr. or Miss. This is the same reason the Aunt Jemima brand fell under scrutiny around the same time. This tradition originated as slaves weren't allowed to use courtesy titles. Once an enslaved person reached older age, titles like uncle, auntie, or mammy, for example, would be used. This is why books like Uncle Tom's Cabin were titled as such, and don't quote me on this, but this could be where Unc comes from in AAVE. Though Tony admittedly has a poor reaction to the ethnicity of Meadow's boyfriend, we can see this moment as a sequence of Tony's woke taking over. By seeing the packet of Uncle Ben's rice, he reassesses his actions and understands how racist he's been. Tony is so shocked by the packet of Uncle Ben's rice and the racism that is within his own home that he faints. The packet of Uncle Ben's rice acts as a metaphor for Tony's battle against internal racism. Being woke, he knows that as a white Italian American, he has many internal biases that he needs to break down. The packet of Uncle Ben's rice represents Tony's racism, but being in his cupboard represents his mind. This is the type of analysis you can only get by studying Reddit. And then to take a closer look at the former, we need to analyze how Vito was caught. In the gay club scene, we see Vito dressed like this: a black brimmed hat and an all-black outfit. Does this remind you of anything? That's right, the SS Division. A black brimmed hat and a full black outfit. Vito's outfit is strikingly similar. Could we really question Tony's judgment in this case, as a man distanced from the gay community? The scene where Tony calls Vito a fag is often brought up as evidence of his homophobia, but listen to the word he uses. Fag! Fag! The etymology of fag begins with the Greek word
Facellos,
meaning bundle of sticks. This then became fascis in Latin, and you can see where I'm going with this. The fascism's name also derives from fascis. The bundle of sticks represents the unity of the people, or some crack theory Mussolini cooked up. Which is why the symbol of the fascist party of Italy used a bundle of sticks surrounding an axe as their symbol. Using this knowledge, we can understand Tony's outburst as a simple misuse of words. As we know, Tony Soprano is fluent in Latin and he speaks it regularly throughout the show. By calling Vito a fag, Tony was actually trying to call out the emerging signs of fascism Vito was starting to show. Tony was actively fighting against fascism, and yet the audience mischaracterized his accents. Are we really in a position to stop this true proletarian hero from resisting the petty bourgeois fascist movement? I would say no, perchance. His relationship with his family too is brought up as evidence of Tony's wrongdoings, but these can be explained away. Tony cheats on his wife quite a lot through the series. There are 16 different women Tony sees other than Camilla. All due respect, you got no fucking idea what it's like to be number one. Every decision you make affects every facet of every other fucking thing. It's too much to deal with almost. At the end, you're completely alone with it all. Hey Family Guy, you're lucky I got a manicotti in the oven, otherwise I'd bash your face in with a bolognese. That's 2 kinds of food. That's how angry I am. Fuck's all that. Fiber optic cable, high-speed internet access. Lot of money in this shit. Oh yeah. Camilla, can you please shut the door? Camilla, can you please shut the door? Dad, are you in the mafia? Am I in the what? Whatever you want to call it. Organized crime. That's total crap. Who told you that? I'm in the waste management business. Everyone immediately assumes you're mobbed up. It's a stereotype and it's offensive. And you're the last person I'd want to perpetuate it. How about that pig's face when it's for the cat? Word to the wise. Remember Pearl Harbor. Star Legend says DuPont's gonna be even tougher this coming year with that Chinese kid. Your father never had the makings of a varsity athlete. Oh, what the hell's with you? What? It's not true. Take your clothes off. Look, Polly, I appreciate it, but maybe another time. Huh? Take your clothes off. You want compromise? How's this? 20 years in the can, I wanted manicotti. But I compromised. I ate grilled cheese off the radiator instead. I wanted to fuck a woman, but I compromised. I jacked off into a tissue. You see where I'm going? Tony's gabagool, Grandma. Something with fat and nitrate. Gabagool. Over here. Now what I'd love to see is a truce. Wipe the slate clean. The no-shows, the wire room, veto. Put it all behind us. Your brother Billy, whatever happened there? Alright then, whatever happened there? The shooting, whatever happened there? God rest his soul. Woke up this morning, got some gabagool. And you wake up the next morning and you get some gabagool. You were born under a gabba with some ghoul in your eyes. I'll sing it now. Woke up this morning, got some gabagool.